We've got a full bucket of stuff for you today, and we're going to start off right and early. And that's because there's an event that just started off 6 minutes ago, too, that we're going to get you up to speed on in a minute. Our special day today as we head down the road to Honolulu Holly is featuring Ernest Carvalho, mayor candidate. That's in the 7 o'clock hour. Tulsi Gabbard, Congresswoman, joins us live in at the bottom of this hour, pretty soon, about half an hour. But right now, I want to tell you about something I found out. My dear friend Linda Jameson Myers is now connected with the Asset School, and I've known a lot about assets for a long time. As a matter of fact, a couple of my friends' kids went there in the past, and I just found it fascinating the way they take kids there that are just brilliant, but they have some difficulties of some others. Once they can sort of find out what a kid is needing, they just open all kinds of doors, and it's we're going to try and help them out a little bit with that this morning. And I'll tell you why, because everybody knows that school's going back pretty soon. There are special schools. Assets is one of those. As a matter of fact, let's just jump right into this. I got so much to tell you about Asset School. Ryan Masa is entering his second year of leading the school there as the head of school. He was a previous K through 8 principal for 5 years and earned his master's degree in mind, brain, and education from Harvard University. He's going to share with us how important it is for parents to understand dyslexia and other attention deficit and hyperactivity and language-based differences that happen to our kids. And once you get that door unlocked, boy, watching these kids grow, it's like it's watching a tree come out of the ground. I mean, just unbelievable. Ryan, I know it's kind of a lengthy introduction. I'm sorry to have to rouse you out so early in the morning, but I thought we should chat a little bit based on the fact that you got a whole bunch of people that got up early this morning for a very special event that's going on. First of all, thanks for being available, and good morning to you.
Morning, Mike. Thanks for having me. And thanks for that lovely introduction. That was fantastic. We have an annual benefit gala that we do every year that we raise money for financial aid. And this year it was scheduled for mid-March, and of course that's when everything was starting to break, and we just thought it wasn't safe to bring a couple hundred people together, even though it was for a really good cause. So we hit pause on that, and this morning, as of 6 o'clock this morning, we went live with our virtual auction.
Yeah, and let me tell you, gang, I went to the site, and I'll tell you how to get there. There's some great benefits and bargains there, but I think taking a look at the big picture, we've seen this rolling across the country, Ryan, recently. Nobody is really certain about schools and what's going to be virtual, what's going to be online. I want to talk about the real importance of taking a look at a special school like Assets and saying that would pose a whole bunch of challenges that you already have enough challenges reaching out to get these kids, but how important is it to be in that classroom environment for kids with needs?
Yeah, I know. I think all of us as heads and principals are trying to figure out how we open schools safely. We released our reopening plan, or sort of the main segment of it, a couple of weeks ago. And we want to be in person. We recognize how important that is for students' intellectual and social, emotional development. They want to be together. They want to play together, collaborate together. So for us, it's really about putting together sort of a symphony of strategies that help keep the community safe, and it's things that we've talked about, that we've heard about before. So wearing masks, creating social distance whenever possible, keeping kids, especially younger kids, in small cohorts. That way, if we do have somebody who tests positive, we don't have to close the whole school down. And we're lucky, we're lucky because Assets serves students who are gifted and who have learning differences. We've always had really low student-to-teacher ratios. So, we typically have 7-to-1 or 8-to-1 ratios already. So our starting point was good.
Yeah, let's get that on the table, gang, because I want to tell you, and I know this firsthand, I can tell you that the student-to-teacher ratio at Assets is unbelievable. And that way, and these kids that get to go there, and their parents, and the achievements that they've made, the colleges they've gone to, and all of these things is really, really terrific. But I'm glad you said what you did, and that is you're gonna work across different platforms to get the job done. But certainly social distancing is a little easier at Assets because of your student-teacher ratio is so small. Number one, and number two, that means that there's not that many kids in any one room at any one time anyway.
Yeah. So like I said, we definitely had that added advantage when we started. And And then, but we're certainly making adjustments too. We're staggering start times and end times and recess and lunch. And we're lucky we have two campuses. Our K-8 campus is over by the airport, and our high school campus is up at Alevo Heights. And so we're lucky to have some great outdoor space too, and we're looking to really utilize that this year. We have some tents and canopies, and just figuring out other spaces to stage kids, whether it's before school or during lunch and recess, or even if they want to for class. So it's really, again, like all schools, I'm sure we're really just trying to take a look at our whole footprint and figure out, how do we optimize and maximize our space.
Yeah, and gang, and shifting into second gear, for the reason I wanted to get together with Ryan this morning was the fact that this virtual auction started up just a few minutes ago, and I can tell you right now, and everybody knows this, Ryan, and I'm sure that you talk with a lot of the parents. I know that a large percentage of the kids attending assets need financial help. There's scholarships and everything else, but this is true across the board everywhere right now. And you mentioned that you had to put your auction off because you wanted to be making sure not to create, a couple of hundred people together and have anybody in trouble. But let's talk about how the fact that a lot of people are in trouble already and the difficulty it is. What does a kid do when they're going to come? They need what Assets has to deliver. How do they apply for it? And how do they receive some of this help, financial help?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and you're right. I would say on any given year, where we typically have about a third of our families receiving some sort of financial aid, and of course this year that number has skyrocketed. We've had just sort of an unprecedented amount of need for families to stay in the school, and then to when they find the school and they feel like it's the right educational home for them, to come join us. And we through the admissions process, we help them with the financial aid process as well. It kind of happens in conjunction because it's often such a big determining factor in whether or not they attend the school. And for us, again, I think for all private schools, we all value this. We all recognize that it's expensive, especially here in Hawaii. I think what maybe is a little bit unique about Assets is the fact that we really are the only school in the state that specializes in kids who are gifted and who have learning differences. And so, as anybody who has a child or knows somebody who is struggling in traditional school, the whole family goes on that journey, Mike. It causes stress in relationships and with siblings, and you're coming home every night and you're kind of fighting the homework wars, and that takes a real toll. So when you finally find a place, which we all need, where our kids are accepted and understood and affirmed, that's like that's a lifesaver. And so, we often say, our families often tell us rather, that, the school isn't really a luxury for them, it's a necessity. We all need a place that understands our kid like that. So, we try to go above and beyond it and make sure that, finances aren't a barrier to families.
Well, I can tell you one thing, and I don't know, we don't have time in this or any program to really hit the nail on the head with regards to the accomplishments and the achievements already made in the past that are continuing going on at the Asset School, because I'm thinking that once the door has been opened, or a very difficult combination lock has been figured out, that these kids that apparently have these concerns or these disabilities turn out to be just rocket stars. The success ratio of the kids that going on to college out of Asset School must be just totally gratifying and make some of those tough days really worth it for all of you in administration and teachers and parents, and more importantly, the kids.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it at the beginning. Our kids are brilliant, and it's just such an honor to be here at this school, because they're just the best. They're creative, and they're brilliant, and they're smart, and they're funny, and and their brains are wired a little bit differently, which is why maybe it makes learning how to read hard, but that also gives them so many other sort of gifts and helps them think in different ways. And I think one of the things that we've always known, but certainly I think we're seeing now, right, is we need people who think differently. That's how we solve problems. That's how we've solved lots of major problems and innovations in our world. And so, to be able to, like you said, take kids on that journey to where they're going off to college now and getting every option that they want, it's really gratifying, and a wonderful school.
Okay, and speaking about the journey, I know some of you are just trying to do the Boulevard Boogie and get down to work. When we come back after a short little break with Ryan Masa, head of school over there at Assets, I'm going to tell you, number one, about this auction, how you can get involved in it, and how you can click on it and get some great stuff. There's light at the end of this tunnel. We want to make you feel good, and we also want you to score some really good items, so stick around for more.
Now, back to Mike on AM 690 and FM 94.3. The Answer.
Okay, so we're talking to Ryan Masa. He's the head of school over there at Assets. And I have an email from another Ryan that says, "Okay, enough already. Where can I get the site for the bidding?" Hey, that's good. I want to light the fire underneath everybody this morning. You go to the virtual bidding site for Assets this morning is assets2020.ggo.bid. I'll tell you more about that and send you a link in a minute. But I want to tell you this is really important, and I don't know if in the short period of time that we have, Ryan, that we can really explain what it's like, because I know that you as head of school get to talk to the kids' parents all the time. What about the gains that some of these kids are really, really a challenge every now and again, that your hardworking staff and teachers, when you finally unlock the door to one of those kids, isn't it like seeing something all of a sudden on Miracle Grow? I'm blown away at the success we all have.
Yeah, no, and you're right. We should definitely shout out the teachers, because they're the ones that do the heavy lifting, and they're the ones that make the magic happen. But you're right. I mean, it's what's really fun is often seeing kids, even before they enroll, if they come for a visit, and then they have this sort of amazing day, and then they get back in the car, and the parents will call us and they say, "Oh my gosh, I see my kid again. My kid is back." We're all exhaling now. Because it's just so important to have a place where people understand you and that you get what you need. I mean, the philosophy of the school is to meet kids where they are and to accept kids for where they are, and that they're going to be in different places, academically and emotionally and socially. And if you just, that sounds very easy, but in reality, to be able to actually meet them there and then grow from that point. You're right, and you see these wonderful transformations, and we have, every year we have every kid getting accepted to college and having the options that they want, and so it's very fulfilling.
Okay, speaking about fulfilling, I want to hit a home run here. First of all, gang, I'm going to tell you how to do that, but we have a caller joining us that I think is pretty important. Apparently, this person's a teacher or has a kid that goes there. Yeah, that's more like it. And is it Janet? Because I'm having trouble with my signals with Josh. Hey, Janet, good morning. Welcome to the program. How are you hooked up with Assets?
Well,
good morning, Janet.
I have a daughter who. Good morning.
Okay.
Oh.
There we go. There we go. We listen. We are challenged a little bit ourselves this morning, technically at my end. Anyway, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
You're so welcome. I appreciate the opportunity to just speak wonderful things about Assets. Yeah, my daughter just graduated, and
wow.
She's off to college. She can't wait to get there. She's going on to Oregon, to a small university up in Oregon, and she is just ripe and ready, man.
Let me ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because of time, let me ask you a couple of things real quickly, Janet. First of all, at what point in time did you realize that your daughter needed some special care, and how did it change things for her once she got that care?
Well, I noticed it early in her education, but unfortunately, my husband didn't want to pull her out of the school. Mm-hmm. She was at a pretty prominent a little school. So when she graduated sixth grade from there, she went on to Assets. And honestly, because none of the other schools, she was turned down by 3 schools because they couldn't handle the special needs that she had, mm-hmm. and in an education sense. And I thank God that we got her into Assets, because it seriously did. Our special tagline is it transforms lives. Well, it did. Mm-hmm. I mean, she got in there and she learned so many tools that helped her along the way. And the first one that she learned was pretty much self-love, and you are okay just the way you are, and we're going to help you figure out how to make it through life.
Hey, Ryan, isn't that exactly, Ryan, why you guys get up and go to work every day?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's so important for kids to understand that, just like Janet said, that they are exactly who they're supposed to be and that they have to accept themselves. And then once they accept themselves for who they are and what their learning needs are, then they can start advocating for themselves.
Yeah, and you have no idea where that's going to go, gang. I'm telling you, we're going to do some follow-up on that. Janet, I want to thank you for joining us, and you must be not only proud of your little girl, but proud of the fact that she's going to go on to the next level and surprise us all, isn't she?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So happy. Just so happy about that.
Okay, thanks, Janet. And by the way, before we bump out of time here, Ryan, let's talk a little bit about this auction, because that's what I wanted to try to do in the first place. The big broad stroke of the brush, where can I go hook up to see what you've got, and how can I participate?
Yeah, you can definitely go to our website, which is assets-school.org, and there will be a link out. Otherwise, you can go directly to assets2020.ggo.bid, and there's all kinds of great things on there: staycations, beautiful artwork, ukulele, catamaran tours. I mean, there's something for everybody there, I think.
Yeah, I look, gang, and it really is going to be some fun. But I want to tell you about the importance, because everybody's seen this. Ryan, if we'd have said a year ago, we wouldn't have said that some of your parents and and our neighbors and families are standing in line with their vehicles to get food. And you know, sometimes you got to juggle priorities, and when you have a special needs child, that priority is it must be very sometimes hard to keep it on the front burner. That's why this auction must be very important to assets.
It's incredibly important, Mike. I mean, we've seen in a matter of months some of our donors become people requesting financial aid. I mean, sort of it turned that quick for some families, and then we always had families who were always needing help, and this has just sort of made it even more challenging. And so again, we're if any of your listeners are able in a position to help, we certainly mahalo you, because it is going immediately directly to families for a really, really good cause to help their child get what they need.
Yeah, and gang, let me tell you something. I wish we had time with Ryan Masa, who's the head of school, but the percentage of folks that graduate these kids is extremely high, those that go on to higher education, and it must be, and they come back and become hardworking members of the society. I know that's what you're all there for, right? I mean, that's the reward. The light at the end of the tunnel is fixing these kids one at a time.
Yeah, I mean, our kids, like I said, our kids are brilliant, and they go on to do all kinds of amazing things for our community. They're just the best. They're just the best, and they deserve to have an education where they are accepted and affirmed, and where they're understood.
Okay, if it weren't for the fact that we're going to be able to spread the word about going to assets-school.org, assets-school.org, about this thing, normally speaking, I mean, what percentage would you say of your kids right now are either under or will be under the need of special financial assistance?
Well, in any given year, it's about a third, Mike. Mm-hmm. But this year, like I said, it's sort of through the roof. We were really inundated with requests, like I said, from families who were already receiving some financial aid who needed more to stay, and then ones who were never on aid. Like I said, they've always they've been in a position to pay, and now desperately wanting to stay in the school, but life threw them a big curveball. Whether that's the hotel industry or the restaurant industry, or a small business owner or whatever, and so I don't even know what percentage it is right now. We're still kind of processing all of those requests.
I got one here from Bruce that says, "Would you please tell me about this place? I never heard of it before this morning. How long have they been there?" That's a great question. I mean, you guys are the little engine that could. I just know you've been there forever, but that's not. 75 years.
65 years this year. We're celebrating 65 years this year.
That's really cool.
It is. Wow. Yeah, it's great. Started by military spouses on Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, you know what, gang, and it was born out of need, and it has a big need right now. So I was happy that we could jump in and help you spread the word a little bit, Ryan. Let's talk some more. I think that the learning curve that your kids go through, for any parent that's having any difficulty, may not be able to have a child go to assets, but really should know how to reach out and find how to get some help if they have a special needs child.
Yeah, great point. So, I mean, you're welcome to contact us. You view the website, assets-school.org. You can call us. We're happy to talk with you. If we're not the right place, we certainly will try to help you find resources in the community, or sort of direct you where we think the right place may be. We also do free literacy screenings for anybody who wants to come. This is typically for younger children, so kindergarten
Terrific.
through about grade 3. You can call us. We'll do a literacy screening. We'll sort of tell you where the child's at right now and sort of what that predicts moving forward, assuming they don't get some intervention. So we really view our mission of the school as a community resource. We want to be there for all kids through their life and for parents through their life, for folks that learn differently, whether you come to the school or not. The mission is beyond the walls of the school.
Thanks for spending some time with us, Ryan. I appreciate it. I hope they light them up. Everybody go to assets.school.org, assets-school.org, and go get something.